You tap your card. A light flashes. The payment is approved, and it feels like money just moved, instantly, from your account to the merchant. But that is not what actually happened. Behind that tiny transaction, a chain of financial systems began communicating with one another. The merchant's terminal, the payment processor, the card network, the acquiring bank, the issuing bank, and the account behind your card. All of them have to agree, and they have to do it in seconds. The remarkable part is not that money exists. The remarkable part is that billions of people can move value through the same infrastructure every day. And one of the most important networks in that infrastructure does something many people misunderstand. Visa does not actually move your money. It moves something else: information, trust, and authorization. The card in your hand is only the visible part. The real system is behind it. Visa operates a global payment network that helps financial institutions communicate during transactions. When you pay, the merchant needs to know whether the transaction can be accepted. The issuing bank needs to determine whether the payment should be authorized, and the system needs to send the response back. All of this happens through a network designed to operate at enormous scale. The physical card is simple. The architecture behind it is not. This distinction is important because the company running the network does not need to own every bank. It does not need to hold every customer's money. And it does not need to manufacture every payment terminal. It connects the participants. That is the business. A network connecting an ecosystem can become more valuable than any single product inside it.
So what actually happens when you tap? First, the payment terminal captures the transaction information. That information enters the merchant's payment system. From there, it travels through the payment infrastructure. The card network helps route the authorization request toward the institution that issued the card. The issuing bank evaluates the transaction. Is the account valid? Is the payment allowed? Are there sufficient funds or available credit? The response then travels back through the network, approved or declined. All of this can happen in seconds. And yet, the actual movement of money may happen later. That is the part most people never see. A payment can be authorized before the final settlement between financial institutions is completed. The screen shows one moment. The financial system is performing several different processes: authorization, clearing, settlement. 3 different layers, hidden behind one tap. This is where modern payments become interesting. Authorization is a decision. It asks, can this transaction happen? Clearing is about exchanging the information needed to calculate what institutions owe each other. Settlement is when those obligations are actually finalized. To the consumer, it feels like one event, but financially, they are different events. That separation allows payment networks to process enormous volumes of transactions efficiently. You do not need every bank to settle every transaction individually at the exact moment a customer taps a card. Instead, the system can organize enormous numbers of transactions into a larger financial process. This is one of the great advantages of financial infrastructure. Complexity disappears behind the interface. The user sees simplicity. The system manages the complexity. And the better the infrastructure, the less the user needs to think about it.
Imagine building a marketplace where almost every major bank wants to participate and almost every major merchant wants access to it. The value of that system becomes enormous. This is the power of network effects. A payment network becomes more useful as more participants join. More merchants create more reasons to carry the card. More cardholders create more reasons for merchants to accept it. More banks create more opportunities for transactions. And more transactions make the network more valuable. The system begins reinforcing itself. This is why payment networks can become extraordinarily powerful businesses. They do not necessarily need to own the products being purchased. They do not need to own the stores. They do not need to manufacture the goods. They operate the infrastructure through which transactions can happen. The commerce happens on top. The network sits underneath. There is another reason payment networks matter. Money can be extremely valuable, but moving information about money can also be valuable. Every transaction creates economic activity. A customer buys something. A merchant receives revenue. Banks process the payment. Processors provide services. Networks provide connectivity. Different participants can receive fees for their role. The amounts attached to individual transactions may be small, but the scale is enormous. Millions of transactions, billions of transactions, every day. That is one of the most powerful characteristics of infrastructure businesses. A tiny economic value, repeated across an enormous network, can become a very large business. The payment itself may be worth $50. The network does not need to own that $50. It only needs to facilitate the system around it. Scale does the rest. Building a payment network is not simply a technology problem. It is a coordination problem. A new network needs merchants. It needs banks. It needs processors. It needs consumers. It needs security. It needs reliability, and it needs trust. But there is a deeper challenge. Why would a merchant adopt a new network if customers are not using it? And why would customers use it if merchants do not accept it? This creates a classic network effect. The established system already has participants on both sides. A challenger must build both sides at once. That is extraordinarily difficult. Technology can be copied. A network is much harder to copy because its real value exists in the relationships between participants. That is why financial infrastructure can remain powerful long after the technology underneath it has changed.
The future of payments may look completely different. The physical card may become less important. Phones can already replace it. Wearables can replace it. Biometric systems may eventually reduce the need for physical credentials, and machines themselves may begin making payments. A vehicle could pay for charging. A device could purchase a service. An AI agent could potentially initiate a transaction. The interface keeps changing, but the underlying problem remains the same. How do you establish trust between two parties who may never meet? How do you verify identity, authorize the transaction, move information, and eventually settle the value? The future of payment technology may therefore be less about eliminating payment networks and more about making them invisible. The best infrastructure may be the infrastructure users never notice.
For most of history, people paid people. Then businesses began paying businesses. Now, machines are beginning to participate in the economy. A connected vehicle can consume electricity. A software system can purchase computing capacity. A robot can order replacement components. An AI system can request information from another service. As automation expands, the number of economic actors may increase dramatically, and some of those actors will not be human. That creates a new challenge for financial infrastructure. Machines need identity. Machines need permissions. Machines need limits. And machines need ways to exchange value. The payment network of the future may therefore connect far more than consumers and merchants. It may connect machines, software, businesses, and intelligent systems. The economy itself could become increasingly automated, and when that happens, payment infrastructure becomes part of machine infrastructure.
The next time you tap a card, look at what you are actually seeing. A few centimeters of plastic, a small terminal, a confirmation on a screen. But underneath, there is an enormous system. Banks, processors, networks, security systems, merchants, and financial institutions communicating in seconds. The remarkable part is not the card, it is the architecture behind the card. A system capable of taking billions of individual transactions and turning them into something that feels almost effortless. That is what infrastructure does. It hides complexity. It makes enormous systems feel simple. And the most powerful infrastructure often becomes invisible precisely because it works. Visa does not need to own your money to become essential to the movement of commerce. It needs to connect the people, businesses, and institutions that make commerce possible. And that reveals a much larger principle. The world's most valuable systems are not always the ones that produce the thing we see. Sometimes they are the networks that allow everything else to happen. NEXNET, the architecture of modern civilization.